Okay, I'm back with a rose. This is Susan Kennedy. I'm a watercolor artist here in Atlanta, Georgia, and you can find a lot more about me at susankennedy.com. Incidentally, this painting is for sale on eBay right now. If you look up eBay seller Susan Kennedy, you can see it. I'm updating it to show its progress as I go along. Kind of a cool little idea I had to show my customers a little bit of my process. I think what I'm going to do is just wet that background up there and wet the central areas of the flowers. I'm going to put in some richer colors, maybe some oranges and yellows and golds. And then down on the bottom, while that soaks in, down on the bottom I think I'm going to lay in just block in some of the dark greens of the foliage. Kind of mostly just doing this from my imagination. I'm kind of looking at these reference photos too, just for some ideas. I guess it's mostly based on these photos of roses in my mother's rose garden. This is Winsor & Newton's Permanent Sap Green, and I'm adding a little bit of alizarin to it to make it a more natural olive kind of color. I really like that color combination for a green. And I think I'll just go do some of my leaf shapes. Leave a few highlights that are just pure white, because in the kind of a sunny way that I'm doing these, there are some whites that you see there that could be working in a smaller brush, but I sure do love a 1-inch flat. I'll probably come back and get some of those jaggedy edges that show you that it's a rose leaf later. Right now I'm just kind of going for the big stuff. Let's see. Another one down here. Didn't really leave myself any highlights except for maybe down there, but I don't think that's visible on the video. Oops. Soak that up with a napkin real quick. Keep on working up here. I want the shapes to kind of bleed into each other. So I'm connecting them. I sometimes think, whoops again, you can see my paper is really buckling. But I'm going to take care of that at the end because I despise stretching and it doesn't seem to work. But I try to think of these shapes that I do with washes being like connected by little bridges between one shape and the next. Actually, so that your watercolor can flow from one shape to the next. Make them look a little interconnected, and I don't know, there's just something about doing that that makes the composition kind of unified. There's a stem coming out. I'm going to come up here. I don't think I put quite enough on there, but it's starting to soak in. I think I have permanent yellow together with quinacridone red. I'm just going to bleed some more orangey yellows in those deep places before I do a whole lot more work. I want some pretty deep shadows. Every now and then I'll paint the entire floor with a 1-inch flat. It's good for everything. And it keeps you loose because it's a pretty big brush, and it just doesn't let you get nitpicky. If you force yourself to use a large flat and not little bitty rounds, you end up with just a quicker, fresher looking shapes that don't look overworked. I'm the queen of the overworked paintings, so it might sound funny coming from me, but I think the ideal is to work with a quick, deft stroke with the largest brush that you can stand. Get a little clear water. There we go. These edges were a little too sharp. Clear water. Okay. I'll be back. Thanks for looking.